What is going on, everybody? My name is Billy the Squid, and welcome to the Ultimate S-Rank Mission Guide to Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. And today we're going over the Chapter 4 missions. These are going to be the Chapter 4 missions that you do on your first playthrough of the game, and it will cover both paths depending on which one you decide to take. S-ranking missions in Armored Core 6 come down to a few factors, being the health that you lose during the mission, the ammo cost that you do during the mission, how fast you complete the mission, and also the bonus objectives that you completed during said mission. And each mission seems to weigh these a little bit differently, so I'll be sure to explain which ones are most important for which missions as we go forward. But enough blabbering, let's get this show on the road with the first mission of Chapter 4, Underground Exploration Depths 1. This mission has you going on a mad dash to the bottom of a pit to take out the Nepenthes laser weapon. There's only one fight outside of the Nepenthes fight, so I would take the dual Zimmermans and the Huxley to make short work of these MTs, along with a lightweight frame. Speed and health lost are your biggest factors for this mission, as ammo costs are almost going to be negligible. I finished this mission in about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. This is also the perfect time to mention that repair costs only factor in the health that you lose and don't count for heals or resupplies. At the very beginning of the mission, immediately dodge off to the left or right, and then free fall down, being as close to the platforms as possible. The only way that this weapon is able to hit you is from the ground, so anytime lasers begin to shoot at you, go over top of the platforms to completely block them. You need to get about 4 platforms down before the platform locks you in, and you also need to be dodging the lasers and the missiles that come from above. If the missiles hit you, it's not a big deal, as this will most likely be the only damage you take during this run, but as soon as you get to that 4th platform, the floor will close and you'll have your one and only big fight of the mission. Activating the Huxleys and one-tapping each and every one of these MTs with the dual Zimmermans should be good enough to get this done, and then immediately head over to the console and unlock the floor again. Immediately after the red barrier drops, go over to the next platform, drop down past it, and go on to the one below it. The weapon is now going to attack you in 2 different forms. 1, the lasers that you've already been dodging, and 2, slow-moving plasma missiles that if you dodge at the very last second before they hit you, you can avoid completely. As soon as you start seeing the weapon charging up the lasers, get onto a platform, or at least get in a line of sight between it and a platform. It will shoot 6 lasers at a time, at which point you are good to drop from there until it starts charging up the next one. Then wash, rinse, repeat. There are some lasers on the side of the tunnel that you don't really need to worry about, as they most likely won't be able to hit you with how fast you're moving, and don't do that much damage if they do. Once you see its health bar after the next laser volley, you can drop immediately down to the bottom, walk up to the neck of it, take it out, and this S rank is yours. Congratulations. You can use a melee weapon if you're really concerned about ammo costs, but with how little fighting we've been doing in this mission, any weapon should be able to get this job done. Depth 2 of the Underground Exploration is one of the most difficult missions of Chapter 4 to S rank. There is a long drawn-out fighting section, an AC fight, as well as a boss fight at the end of it. With such, we are going to take the dual LMGs, a Huxley, and an Ashmead, along with a mid-weight AC. We're able to get away with the dual LMGs because ammo cost is not a big factor in this mission, as speed and repair costs are the biggest determiner. Getting through everything before the boss without using any of your repair kits will be a good gauge on where your repair costs are, and expect to take quite a bit of damage from the boss, but as long as it does not kill you, you should be good. The best thing about this mission is that the bonus pay is going to be so high because everything is close quarters tunnel combat, and it pretty well forces you to execute every MT that you come across, giving you the maximum bonus payout. This helps kind of balance out your health and ammo costs going through the mission. Fight your way up to the first bulkhead, and then go into the room on your left and drop down to get to the terminal to unlock it. Once you get down here, there will be a Balaam MT ambush, but it's nothing that the dual LMG shouldn't be able to take out. Be sure to keep controlled fire on these things, as it is easy to overkill some enemies and waste some ammo. If you want to, you can also take out the Ashmead, and 1 regular bump from that will be enough to take out each one of the MTs. No need to charge. After activating the terminal and going up the elevator, do a long assault boost down the hallway to the next bulkhead, and get ready for your AC fight with none other than your best friend Iguazu. The man who just can't accept an ass beating has returned, and this is going to go down just like the other fights. Open up your Huxley and your LMGs until he's staggered, then walk up and do a full Ashmead charge into him. With you having the Huxley up, it should be enough to finish him off if he had just a smidge of health left, but if not, unload on the LMG on your right hand to finish the job before he can heal. Head down through the next bulkhead, and right before you get to the end of it, head off to the right, as the boss of the area will shoot a laser down that could hit you if you're right at the entrance. From this point, you're going to want to skate the left side of the area, using the terrain to block the lasers from the boss. If a few missiles hit you, that's fine, as long as the lasers do not hit you, as they will do big damage and stagger you, leaving you susceptible to even more damage. Once you get just above the bridge, it'll run away, and then you can drop down to the left side. You don't have to go in and waste your time seeing that the bulkhead's not going to work to jump down this way. Just go straight for it and head into the sewer system. The little spider bots here will build up discharge on you. If you're quick enough, you can go ahead and go straight for the jump pad, but you can also take them out for a little bit of extra moolah. Once up the jump pads, go into the next pipe, and then go into a room with a bunch of MTs hanging from the ceiling. Use your Ashmead to bump into each and every one of these, as once you activate the next terminal, they will all come alive, and you're going to want that money anyway. But since they're not fighting back, there's no reason to waste ammo on it, and the cost that you get from destroying each of these outweighs the time it takes waiting for the Ashmead to recharge. An alternate weapon that you could take in place of the Ashmead would be the laser dagger, and it would have a quicker turnaround on this. It really is up to you which weapon you prefer. I prefer the Ashmead because it does get bosses down quicker and more consistently. And speaking of bosses, taking the elevator up and following the tunnels out leads you to where the boss of the area is. Don't forget to get your resupply, as getting these does not affect your ammo cost or your repair costs for the mission. The secret to success with this fight is to be willing to take little chips of damage to get the fight done as quickly as possible, as it does seem like this is a battle of attrition, and the longer the fight goes on, the less and less it is in your favor, especially after Phase 2 kicks in. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's talk about Phase 1. He has two weapons that he will use in this phase, an up-close pulse SMG and a long-range laser railgun. Both of these have the potential to do a lot of damage to you, but I would take the pulse SMG hits all day compared to the laser railgun. Staying in close will assure that that's the weapon he uses the most, as he tends to do a backstep and then unload with the SMG. At mid-range, he'll also potentially pull out a shield that will block some of your attacks, but as soon as you close the gap, he tends to put it down in favor of the SMG. Mid-range is also where he tends to use his laser lance. Definitely avoid this with side boosts if he ends up charging it up at you. Phase 2 begins when the enforcement system makes this announcement. At this point, be ready to dodge up into the air to dodge the shockwave, and then to the right or left to dodge the laser lance grab. Anytime his railgun begins to glow and he ends up going down on one knee, get ready to dodge up into the air, as that shockwave is very large and will most likely hit you if you're trying to backstep out of it. Outside of these two moves, Phase 2 is exactly the same as Phase 1, and I would go ahead and use your assault armor at this point to finish this phase off as quickly as possible, as those shockwaves on the ground are big damage dealers and could potentially one-shot you if you're not paying close enough attention to your health. With consistent gunfire from the LMGs and the Huxley, and taking advantage of every stagger with the Ashmead, this fight should be done fairly quickly, and that S rank should be yours. Congratulations. Depth 3 Underground Exploration is a fairly short mission, being pretty much a beeline to a boss fight. The fight in question being a very fast AC, so we will answer in kind with a fast AC of our own. Also the dual Zimmermans and the Huxley with the laser dagger attachment. I find this boss recovers from stagger far too quickly to be able to use the Ashmead effectively, and the laser dagger is just much more consistent. My mission time for Depth 3 was a clean 3:33, and the biggest factors for this mission is going to be your repair, speed, and ammo costs. The bonus pay isn't that big of a factor, as going around and destroying everything is just going to take way too much time. Therefore, being good with the resources you do have control over, such as your ammo and your repairs, will be the big factor. Immediately jet through the long hallways until you get to this large open area. There's a bunch of laser turrets up on the upper end that will immediately target you as you start jumping down. They don't do a lot of damage, but they do prolonged damage, as once they're on you, it does not stop until you break line of sight. jumping down behind that shield and then immediately jumping underneath of the map will forego all of the above, and we'll be ignoring everything that is up there, along with most of the things that are down underneath, with the exception of this one large LC, as he is a big payoff for the bonus objective and worth taking out because it doesn't take that long. After taking him out, go ahead and skirt the right side of the building, taking out anything that's along your way if you feel the need to, and go on inside. Once inside, go ahead and take out all of the PCA mechs in the hallway. They will go into the next room that you have to clear out to be able to unlock the next door, so going ahead and taking them out now is the best play. Once that's done, hop into the circular dome and fight off the PCA that are in here. There's two smaller mechs followed by a larger mech similar to the one we already fought outside. Go ahead and double Zimmerman them to death and make your way on in. Once all is said and done, make your way to the generator and destroy it with your laser dagger, and then promptly exit the building.
Get out of there before it explodes, 621.
Once you get to the dome that you fought the PCA mechs in, the bulkhead will close and the boss will spawn. As I stated in the beginning, this boss does not stay staggered for very long, and I found it extremely difficult to use the Ashmead, but the laser dagger is quick enough on the swap to get the job done. Also, you can funnel it into your regular combos if you so see fit. The one good thing about this mech is it does get staggered very quickly. The double Zimmermans, even after the nerf, are almost able to stagger it outright on their own. Along with the Huxley Blast, it should not be difficult at all. Last thing to note about this boss is it does have terminal armor that you will have to wait out before you are able to deal the killing blow. After that, just open the partitions, assault boost your way out, and enjoy your S rank. Congratulations. Next up, we have the option, and first we're going to cover the more difficult of the two options, Intercept the Redguns. This is an all-out assault where you have to destroy everything that they throw at you, including their boss Michigan. As such, we're taking the dual LMGs, the Huxley, and the Ashmead. This will make quick work of the quad tanks that they throw at you, and Michigan himself. This mission is effectively on an invisible timer, with the waves showing up on a time basis and not based on how many enemies you destroy. As such, time isn't that big of a factor, as you'll probably finish it around the 5-minute mark all the time. To be perfectly honest with you, repair costs and ammo costs aren't that big of a factor either. It is mainly just surviving without dying this onslaught, with repair costs being a close second. Speed is going to be everything with this mission, so immediately go forward, assault boost in, and start picking out the ground MTs as you see them. As soon as you lock onto one, beeline it over to them and take them out. It shouldn't take more than a second of burst from the LMGs to take out each one of these guys, but make sure you're doing quick and efficient work of it. There's also going to be flying MTs around. 1 or 2 bullets from each of the LMGs is enough to take them out. I would not waste the Huxleys like I did in this mission on the first 2 waves, as you will most likely need them more so for Michigan and the quad mechs whenever they do come in. Wave 1 is going to be in the front and the left side of the building, but as soon as Wave 2 spawns, rush to the back of the complex. There's going to be an assault copter that comes down with MTs on it, and if you're able to take it out before it lands, you can take out 4 or 5 MTs without actually having to fight them directly. After that, go ahead and do the same thing that you did in Phase 1, picking off the ground MTs, and then getting the air ones afterwards. Wave 3 is going to bring in the first of the quad mechs, and as soon as this wave comes in, you want to isolate the quad mech and take it out immediately. You do not want to have multiple quad mechs alive whenever Michigan and the other quad mechs show up. This is the time that you're going to get the most benefit out of the Huxleys and the dual LMGs. You should be able to stagger them very quickly, and as soon as that stagger goes through, switch over to the Ashmead and do a full charge into it. After that, just sustained fire into them should be enough to finish each one of them off. The rest of the MTs should be grouped up fairly close to each other, so it should be easy enough to take out a decent amount of them before Michigan ends up showing up. As soon as his health bar appears, Michigan is in play, but he usually spawns at the front of the complex where you first came in, so you still have time while he's coming over to you to pick off a few of the MTs that came in with him. These ones do have shields, and an Ashmead hit will be enough to break those, or you can just assault boost behind them. The good thing I've found about waiting for Michigan to come to you is he tends to use his boosts and stuff to get over top to you, meaning he will be grounded for the first part of the altercation. I would immediately assault, armor, and deploy the Huxley, and then go full send in with the LMGs. As soon as that stagger goes through, hit him with the Ashmead. If you're able to get his health down to around 50% by the time you do the full charged Ashmead charge, it will one-shot him outright. but I ended up having to do it twice to be able to get this result. This is why I was saying you want to save Huxley's for these last few altercations, just because they do stagger him considerably, and they will do good damage on top of it in case he has a little bit left over after the Ashmead charge to finish him off before he can heal. With Michigan out of the way, go ahead and clear out the remaining MTs until the final 5th wave spawns. This one is going to bring another quad mech and some rocket snipers from the sides. Ignore the quad mech immediately and go for each one of these rocket shooters. They will make you fighting the quad mech a lot more dangerous, as if one of them hits you, the quad mech might be able to one-shot you outright depending on what your health is at. Once you've cleared out one side safely from the Rocketeers, you can turn your attentions over to the quad mech. You should have some Huxleys left over if you didn't burn them in the first few phases, and this should be just as easy work as the first quad mech was. Unload into them with the LMGs and the Huxleys, and then Ashmead charge them for the win. And this is why I was saying at the beginning of the mission that speed is the most important thing. If you don't take out these major threats quick enough, they will stack on top of each other and make an insurmountable odds towards you. So making sure that you can take out each one of these threats immediately and quickly will give you this S rank no problem. Speaking of S rank, clear out the last of the trash, and that juicy S rank is yours. Congratulations. If you choose to go the other route, you'll be doing the Ambush the Vespers mission. This is going to be a 2v2 AC fight, and as such, you're going to bring a fast AC killer build. The build I chose to bring was dual Zimmermans, a Huxley, and the laser daggers, as both of these ACs do recover from stagger extremely quickly, and you won't be able to get an Ashmead charge off. Speed is the name of the game with this one, as repair costs and ammo costs take a back seat. Getting both of these ACs down in the quickest time possible will get you that S rank, me completing it in about 2 minutes and 18 seconds. As soon as the mission kicks off, you have one of 2 choices that you can pick, and your partner will take the other one. Me personally, I beeline it for V5 Hawkins, as he is the most threatening out of the 2, and your partner is better suited to keeping Pater busy than he is Hawkins. If you choose to go after Pater, make sure you get him killed quickly, as Hawkins will most likely take out your partner in the process. As long as you stay in close range and use your mobility to your advantage, this should go about the same way that most AC fights go in this game. As soon as you get that stagger built up, unleash with your melee weapon, and then wash, rinse, repeat with the dual Zimmermans and the Huxleys. Speed is not only necessary for the S rank for this mission, but it is good for survivability overall. Middle Flatwell is not the best dueling AC in the world, so making sure that you take out the first one quickly before Middle gets kicked out of the fight will make it so that this 2v2 doesn't become a 1v2 to your detriment. Once you've turned Hawkins AC into scrap metal, turn all attention to Pater. If done quickly, this should be a 2v1 against Pater, and you should be able to turn him into scrap as well quickly enough. 1 or 2 stagger cycles should be enough to end this mission quickly and get you that juicy S rank. Congratulations. Continuing the theme of AC battles, we have Unknown Territory Survey. This one is a 1v1 versus you and your good buddy Rusty, and you need a fast mech to go up against his. I would recommend once again the dual Zimmermans, the Huxley, and the laser dagger, as Rusty has a very quick stagger recovery, and the dagger is the quickest weapon to take advantage of this. I found repair cost to be the golden factor for this mission, with mission time being a close second. There is no bonus pay for this mission, so you have to do this quickly and efficiently with as minimal costs as possible. As soon as the mission starts, immediately jump off to the side and beeline it down to the bottom. This will lead you to a cave system, and all you have to do is traverse through here to get to where you fight Rusty. There will be some maggots around. They will not affect you if you're quick enough getting through here, as they don't have that much range, and even if they do hit you, they don't do that much damage. And then everything leads you to your 1v1 with Rusty. He is an extremely quick AC and an extremely aggressive one to boot. Your biggest saving grace here is that while he does recover from stagger quickly, he also builds it up just as quickly. The Huxleys should be enough to soften him up, and then a direct Zimmerman blast should be enough to send him to the stagger zone, at which case open up with your daggers and chunk him down. This combo is usually enough to take about half of his HP away, and if you can get him down to about half of his HP before you stagger him, then you should be able to one-shot him outright. If not, he will heal about 3 times during the course of the battle before you're actually able to finish him off. And just like that, once you finish this fight, head down to the back, jet all the way down to the bottom, go to the overlook, and this S rank is yours. Congrats. And lastly, we have the final mission of Chapter 4, Reach the Coral Convergence. This will take you into multiple AC fights and finish off with the Ibis series boss fight. With the speed that Ibis is going to bring, you want to be just as fast, and I would recommend the dual Ducat revolvers, a Huxley, and the laser dagger, as I did not find the Zimmermans consistent enough on hitting Ibis. While you can S-rank this mission without having to worry about time if you take out every enemy in the area, including the wheels down in the lake, I do not recommend this, as this is definitely the more difficult route to go. The way I did it here was only destroying the 2 starter ACs and the MTs in the area at the beginning, and then beelining it directly for the Ibis fight. Doing it this way, I finished the mission in 6 minutes and 4 seconds, with repair costs being the second determining factor. From the offset of the mission, immediately head over and start engaging into one of the ACs. You can take out some of the MTs if they start targeting you, but for the most part they should be targeting the 2 Vespers, and they will keep one Vesper busy while you are dealing with the other one. Feel free to take your pick on which one you lean into first, as both of them are equally as deadly, and until the MTs are taken out in the area, it should not become a 2v1. This is a good way for you to get used to the twin Ducat revolvers if you're not used to them already, and the laser dagger, once they're staggered, should be enough to finish them off in 1 or 2 cycles each. Once the 2 ACs are taken out, you will have to clear out the rest of the MTs in the area before it will unlock the move forward to get to the Ibis boss fight. From here on, the route is extremely straightforward, and you will be ignoring every single thing that comes in your way until you get to the boss fight. Going across this bridge, there will be a wheel that comes across as well, but if you fly up into the air and over top of it, it'll pretty well ignore you. Once you get to the next part of the ruined city, you want to go up and to the right, as there will be no MTs over in this area and others won't track you easily into this part of the city. And this will be the most direct route to get to the resupply and to the boss fight. If you see any lasers on you, just duck down underneath of the buildings to break their line of sight and continue forward. Don't forget to grab your resupply, as grabbing these does not affect your repair costs for the mission, only the damage you take. And then jump down into the lake for the Ibis boss fight itself. Strategy for this boss fight goes very similarly to how you would handle most of your more nimble ACs, with the exception of you will be doing a lot more side boosting to dodge both the laser sword blasts and the funnel lasers that spawn around you. But as soon as you're able to close that gap, go ahead and open up the Huxley turret and unload into it with the twin Ducats. She does not have that much of a stagger threshold, but she will recover very quickly, so that's why we brought the laser dagger into this fight, to make the most of those stagger opportunities. 2 to 3 cycles should be enough to clear phase 1 with this combination, and then you can be ready for phase 2. The most difficult part of phase 2 is this opening assault. Until you see a health bar spawn, you cannot do damage to Ibis. So be quick, be nimble, and be ready to dodge everything that Ibis throws at you. Try to keep your distance until that health bar spawns, and then immediately close the gap back in and wash, rinse, repeat your strats from phase 1. The Ibis has the same HP from phase 1 as it does in phase 2, so it'll take 3 rotations of stagger and laser daggering to get the job done. But with enough speed and resilience, you should be able to clear this out fairly quickly and easily and achieve your very own S rank, the final S rank for Chapter 4. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as we will be doing Chapter 5 and the New Game Plus and Plus Plus S rank mission guides in the near future. Thank you for watching, much love, and bye-bye.